Shalom, shalom, shalom to the hopeful elect. Before I get started, I'd like to give all praise and the honor and the glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shah, Bahasham, Rechaha Kodash, and double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone and the bishops who teach and rule well. Especially the men out there that's laboring in this truth to make their body a living sacrifice. And to the few Akwaf, very, very few Akwaf, that's learning to keep and stand in order. Shalom to you. Okay? And the nature of this lesson is the next kingdom that's going to rise is the kingdom of Yahweh Shai. And that's going to be a righteous rule. And it's going to start at the top of the mountain, as the scripture would say. The government is going to be the government of Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai being the head of the mountain. Underneath Yahweh Shai, you're going to have King David. Malak Dawadah. And that's how you say King David in the Hebrew. King David is going to be set back up in his rightful position. And then you're going to have 12 apostles. You're going to have 144,000 men, which is the governing body. They're going to govern the whole world, man. Through the elect, the whole earth is going to get back into order. Now, this kingdom is going to be the kingdom of Israel, man. That proves that the Lord has a chosen people, because it's prophesied in the last days he will assemble the tabernacle of David. The tabernacle of David is all Israelites. All Israelites. Ain't no heathens going to be ruling. All heathen rules, all heathen rulership will be put down. Okay, Yahweh Shai, which is himself is an Israelite from the tribe of Judah. Okay, and rightfully so. This planet is his, man, Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai is the one that created all things with the help of his elect. Scriptures, let me get that. It's all things were made by him. And we was in Colossians and Hebrews. My phone loading pretty slow, so bear with me. And this is Colossians 1 and 13. who hath delivered us from the power of darkness and have translated us into the kingdom of his dear son. Who is that? That's Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai is the dear son. It's his kingdom. He delivered us what? Out of the world, this current world, which is full of darkness. Also, the lack of understanding. All right, the elect have received this knowledge that go back to Yahweh Shai, man. And that brought us out of the darkness of this world. And eventually we'll be translated out of this dark world into a what? A glorious kingdom. So you have to understand when you're in this truth what you're fighting for. You have to understand why you're suffering, because that's a great part of being a part of this ministry, that you came into this thing to suffer for righteousness' sake, for Yahweh Shai, for his elect. Okay? So to hell with this world. This world is going to be destroyed by thermonuclear missiles. Colossians 1:14, in whom we have redemption through his blood. That's right. Even the forgiveness of sins, who is the image of the invisible power. Okay, so Yahweh Shai, look like Yahweh. Yahweh is the invisible power. You say, who is the image of the invisible power? The firstborn of every creature. The firstborn of every creature is Yahweh Shai. This is John 14:9. Yahweh Shai said unto him, he's speaking to Philip, because Philip asked of Yahweh Shai to show him the Father, show the apostles the Father. And this is John 14:9, was Yahweh Shai response. John 14:9, Yahweh Shai said unto him, have I been so long time with you, and yet have thou not known me, Philip? He that have seen me have seen the Father. And how sayest thou then, show us the Father? Believest thou not that I am in the Father, and the Father in me? The words that I spake unto you, I speak not of myself, but the Father that dwelleth in me, he doeth the works. So he came directly from the Father. Saying Proverbs 8, that he was created from the Most High, from the mouth of the Most High. Just like a father, that have a son, and he looked just like the Father. Likewise with Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai mirrors his father Yahweh. Okay, so I just wanted to prove that point real quick. Back in Colossians, chapter 1. In verse 16, it say, for by him were all things created. You see that? So this is a mystery among, ye wacky-tacky Christians, man, and other, religious group that claim to know the Bible. They don't understand that who they call God didn't create the existing world that you see and all things that are in it. It was actually Yahweh Shai that did the work, and the 144,000 who assisted him. Okay? You say for by him who Yahweh Shai. Well, all things created, he got the blueprint from Yahweh. But Yahweh don't have to do anything. He have angels. He have servants. With Yahweh, with Yahweh Shai being the what? The top angel. He's the priest of Yahweh. He execute everything Abba Yahweh will have him to do. You say, for by him were all things created that are in heaven and that are in earth, visible and invisible, whether they be thrones or dominions or principalities or powers. All things were created by him and for him. Verse 17, and he is before all things, and by him all things consist. You see that? Yahweh Shai is before all things. He was the first fruit, which is the first spirit created. The first spirit, the first fruit created was his son, Yahweh Shai. So it makes sense that this current kingdom, this current kingdom would be destroyed. And the next kingdom to come will be the government of Yahweh Shai. There's many prophecies on that, man. Daniel chapter 7. Yeah, I read verse 22, but I'm going to skip around. Daniel chapter 7 and 22. I started 21. I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints and prevailed against them until the Ancient of Days came. And the Ancient of Days came, and judgment was given to the saints. Who are the saints? The Israelites. It's like, until the Ancient of Days, Salakia, until the Ancient of Days came, and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High. And the time came that the saints possess the kingdom. Judgment was given with Yahweh to give power to Yahweh will give the power to judge, to give judgment to the Israelites. You see that? Daniel 7 and 27, and the kingdom I started at 26, Daniel 7 and 26. But the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion to consume and to destroy it unto the end. And the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him. Who? Yahweh Shai. It's going to be a righteous kingdom, man. All these major kingdoms that rule was to rule for a certain period of time. And after the last heathenistic rulership, which is who? Esau, the kingdom is going to be given to what? The saints. The saints of the Most High shall what? Take the kingdom. And this is according to prophecy. You had the 4 major kingdoms that was set to rule before who? Yahweh Shai step in and take down the current rulership and set up the kingdom of heaven. You have, Babylon, Assyria, the Persians and the Medes. You had the Greeks, and then you had the Romans. And out of the Romans, who came? America. Okay? The scriptures say Esau is the end of the world. Let me get that. Second Ezra 6:9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. You see that? Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So, hey, it points to you who Esau is, man. You got people saying that the Arabs are the Edomites. They don't understand prophecy. You said what? Esau is the end of the world, which will point to the so-called white man being Esau. Okay? He's Esau, man. His homeland is Mount Seir, Mount Petra. And that land is going to be given to Israel, man. The saints of the Most High should take the kingdom, man. The kingdom coming is next. This is why the other nations hate you. Okay? You Israelites, you Negro, Latinos, and Native American, this is the true reason why you're hated among all people. Every nation hates you because what? We are the descendants of what? The chosen. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. If you're a Negro, Latino, and Native American, you descend from one of the 12 sons of Jacob. Okay? And the nation have always had a hatred for the nation of Israel. Throughout the course of history, we was back and forth at war, with the nations. They tried to stop us from building, tried to stop us from trying to build the kingdom. They tried to stop us from building the kingdom during the time of the Persians, So we have a kingdom that's coming, man. That's going to be marvelous, man. It ain't going to be no suffering, no crime, no separation from your family. No other nation will have the power to come up against you. Why? Because they're going into servitude. They're going into slavery. The other nations are going into slavery. Thus saith the Lord, man. The Lord does have a chosen people. These devils can't be saved, man. These devils are going to be slaves in our kingdom, man. They're going to pick the cotton. They're going to dig up. You see, as you can see right now. They only going to eat enough food to have strength to work. They're not going to deal with their women. You know, as you can see, that's a perfect example right there. The truth being told, all nations were created to serve us. I know, all nations were created to serve us, man. You know, all nations were created to serve us. We're going to be collecting taxes from them. And the best of their flocks, the best of their flocks and their, your sheep, all their cattle, that's going to be converted to us. And you will read that in the book of Psalms, the 60th chapter. Psalms chapter, Isaiah chapter 60 speak about the kingdom. And guess what? Slaves were mentioned. Slaves were mentioned, man. Truth being told, we're going to have slaves, man. You know? This is Micah chapter 2. So like in Micah chapter 4. Micah chapter 4, and it say, but in the last days it shall come to pass that the mountain of the house of the Lord shall be established in the top of the mountains, and it shall be exalted above the hills, and people shall flow into it. The word mountain is synonymous with government. So the government of the Lord is going to be assembled in the last days, which is 144,000 men, who the Lord have woke them up out of darkness to come into this truth so they can be saved, and the elect will be a part of the governing body. The elect will be ruling and receiving instructions underneath Yahweh Shai, just as the elect helped Yahweh Shai to create this world, or should I say the worlds. It's the same way when he set up the kingdom, the elect will receive instructions to get the whole earth back in order. The elect will be ruling over lands. The elect will be ruling over people. Elect will be ruling over people. You know? So that mountain is speaking about is a what? Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai government. And say the house of the Lord shall be established in the top of the mountain. That's Yahweh Shai and his elect. And it shall be exalted above the hills. The hills represent what? Smaller government. And people shall flow into it. The Lord is going to establish his own government. Israel with Yahweh Shai being at the top of the mountain. As it was say in Colossians, he's the head of the body. You know, followed by who? King David and 144,000. And many nations, verse 2, and many nations shall come and say, come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord and to the house of the power of Jacob. And he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For the law shall go forth of Zion, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. Now these heathens are going to say that. Let us go up to the mountain of the house of the Lord and to the God of Jacob and teach us of his ways. Okay? And they're going to keep our ways by force. But they're going to see that our ways are righteous. You know? Deuteronomy 4 and 6, keep therefore and do them. It's talking about the laws and statute commandments. Because that's what makes us a chosen people. It's not that we did anything to become the chosen. The Lord dealt with our forefathers. And he chose us as a nation to be his people. Which means he gave us a set of laws, a statute, and commandments to be his people. The laws was not given to every nation. That's what makes us a holy people. That we receive the laws and statutes and commandments from the Lord by the hand of Moses. That's what makes us a holy people. The laws and statutes and commandments. Because the law is what make us clean. The scriptures state what? Be clean, be ye holy as your Father in heaven is holy. What make us holy? The laws and statute commandments. It keeps us in a clean state from defiling ourselves, man. That's why we went into slavery, because what? We left that clean state, man. Start going after the other nations and their manners and their customs, their ways is what defiled the nation of Israel. And what happened? The capital punishment was slavery. Now, 2/3 of our people, they are going to perish on this side and come back through the 1/3, the elect. And when the whole nation is to assemble together in the kingdom, we're going to be a nation of immortals. And the heart of the 2/3 are going to be changed to doing righteous. We're going to receive bodies that are non-perishable. And in those bodies, we'll be able to keep the laws and the statutes and the commandments perfectly. We won't be able to go off. It'll be incapable. We will not be able to sin in those righteous bodies, those perfect bodies. We won't be able to sin, which means we will execute the law perfectly. As priests, as a nation of kings and priests on the earth. That's in the kingdom. But right now, we're in the chains of darkness. We're not able to fulfill that. That's the purpose of Yahweh Shai. It wasn't the law that was wrong. It's the creature that is made subject to vanity. The creature is made subject to vanity. That's Jacob, man. We were made to go off in these current bodies. But the bodies that we're going to receive, once the elect is translated into the chariots, are bodies that are incorruptible. It's going to be a perfect body where you won't ever go off. Your mind won't go off. It won't go left. Deuteronomy 4 and 5. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my power commanded me, that ye should do so in the land, whether ye go to possess it. And that's another thing that shows you that we can't keep the laws and statutes. We can't keep the laws and statutes and commandments in captivity. We got to be in our own land. This is the laws, statutes, commandments We keep them. We keep laws to show the Lord that we have faith. But really, in the land of Israel, we're supposed to be keeping these laws. We can't do it in captivity. We're going to go off. The enemy wired it where you're going to go off. But in the kingdom, you're not going to go off. And this is Moses here speaking to the children of Israel. We received the laws and statute commandments underneath Moses. Deuteronomy 4:6, keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. You see that? This great nation is a wise and understanding people. Okay, and that's why they're going to say in what Micah 2, and many nations shall come and say, come, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, and to the house of the power of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his path, for the law shall go forth of Zion, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. You see that? They're going to see our ways are righteous. They're going to keep our ways, and that's just what's going to get the planet Earth in order. These heathens got to be put in order. You see that? And then righteousness is going to be put out. Because the other nations are wicked. Edom is the wicked of the earth. He was the nation that was created to do wicked. But the other nations are wicked too. Esau is the top wicked. He is the wicked. Esau, Edom, his land is the land of wickedness. Micah verse 4 and 3, and he shall judge among many people and rebuke strong nations afar off, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up a sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. You see that? They shall beat their sword in the plowshare. Plowshares are garden instruments. Garden tools you use to till the ground. So they're going to work in our kingdom. They're going to labor to build up the kingdom. And they say, what nation should not lift up? No, why? Because Yahushua is going to establish peace in the earth. All right, this war that's getting ready to happen is going to be the war to end all wars. The last war. After that, it's going to be a peaceful earth. After these missiles go off, Yahushua return and hit this place with laser beams and what? Beam of it. Hey, the elect get beamed up, and the Lord hit this place with laser beams. This is the last war. The war of Armageddon, the war of Armageddon. This is going to be the last heathenistic rulership. And this is the war that's going to end all wars. There won't be a need for nations to go into war, because our kingdom is going to establish what? Peace in the earth through Yahushua. That's why he's known as what? The peace prince of peace. Micah chapter 4 verse 4, but they shall sit every man under his vine and under his fig tree, and none shall make them afraid. You see that? No nation going to make us afraid. No nation going to come up against us, man. For the mouth of the Lord of hosts has spoken it. Micah chapter 4, verse 5, for all people will walk everyone in the name of his God, and we will walk in the name of the Lord our power forever and ever. Now, this ain't talking about they're going to walk in Allah and Buddha and Jesus and all these other gods. No, they're going to walk, when they say, for all people will walk everyone in the name of his power, they're going to walk in the power of who? The power of Jacob, which is Yahweh. They're going to know Yahweh through us. All that Allah and Buddha, all that's going to be put out, those names are going to be put out to earth. And Yahweh's name is going to be reverenced all over the globe. They're going to know Yahweh through the Israelites. Micah chapter 4 and 6, in that day said the Lord, will I assemble her that haughteth, and I will gather her that is driven out, and her that I have afflicted. Okay? The nation of Israel been afflicted. Driven out into the what? The four corners of the earth. Isaiah 11 and 11. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria and from Egypt and from Pathros and from Cush and from Elam and from Shinar and from Hamath and from the islands of the sea. And the Hebrew word for recover is qanah. You know, it's qanah. Let me get that word. Qanah is the same word as redeem. You see that? And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people. Now, the first time is when we was in Egypt. We left on foot. The Lord parted the Red Sea and destroyed those Egyptians, overthrow them, shut up the mouth of the sea and swallowed up the Egyptians. But this time, it's going to be a fashionable exit. The Lord is going to send his dear son, Yahushua, and a fathership with the Alahayim. Right? The salvation, the second time is going to be salvation in the air. The second deliverance is going to be in the air. That's how we're going to get back home, man. We ain't going to need no boats, no ships, or, a passport to try to, get us back home. You got dummies out there that say, we got to get a passport and we got to get the heathens to take us back home. They don't know the scriptures. They don't understand the scriptures. This second deliverance, man, all we got to do is wait. Wait on the Lord, man. The ones who will make it out of Jacob's trouble, famine, pestilence, diseases, sword, and ultimately World War III. You're going to be redeemed. You're going to be caught up in the chariot. The chariots are the vehicle to salvation. The chariots are the vehicles back home. But that land, Israel, got to be cleansed first. Israel is going to be hit with missiles. America is going to be hit with missiles, man. The Lord already have a perfect design. To bring his children home. It say, Isaiah 11:11, and it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to what? Redeem, recover, which means redeem the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria and from Egypt and from Pathros and from Cush and from Elam and from Shinar and from Hamath and from the islands of the sea. Verse 12, and he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. Showing you that we're scattered, and we're going to be gathered. Verse 13, the envy also of Ephraim, that's the head of the northern kingdom. The envy also of Ephraim shall depart, meaning they won't hate Judah. There's enmity between the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom that go all the way back to Rehoboam and Jeroboam. And the adversary of Judah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim. So the hatred between the northern and the southern kingdom is going to be put out. Jeremiah 3:18, in those days, the house of Judah shall walk with the house of Israel, and they shall come together out of the land of the north. That's what? America. Come together out of the land of the north to the land that I have given for an inheritance unto your fathers. You see that? So the envy is going to be put out. They're going to walk together. That's happening right now. They coming under the banner of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Only the Lord could have broken that hatred, starting with the elect, for them to come together and teach this word. You got camps out there with Southern Kingdom and Northern Kingdom together. The truth, the power of Abba, Yahweh, while Yahweh Shai is what brought the two nations together. And it's going to happen fully in the kingdom. But right now, the Lord only wants who? The cream of the crop of our nation, which is the elect. Jeremiah 16:15. Jeremiah 16:14. Therefore, behold, the days come, said the Lord of hosts, that it shall no more be said, the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of the north, of the land of the Egypt, right? But the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, that's America, and from all the lands whither he had driven them, and I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers. You see that? So Israel is going back home, man. Israel is going home. Psalms 147 and 1, praise ye the Lord, for it is good to sing praises unto our power, for it is pleasant and praise is comely. You're right, beautiful. And that's the truth. This truth is likened unto a delicate song, man. This the best song you ever heard, man. Psalms 147:2, the Lord doeth build up Jerusalem. He gathereth together the outcast of Israel. He healeth the brokenhearted and bindeth up their wounds. He telleth the number of the stars, he calleth them all by their names. Great is our Lord, and of great power. His understanding is infinite. You see that? The Lord lifteth up the meek. He casteth the wicked down to the ground. And that's what's about to happen. The wicked is about to be cast down, put out of the earth. After they serve their punishment, the wicked is the Edomites. And our kingdom is coming next, man, a glorious kingdom. A kingdom where we won't suffer, man. No enemy come up against us. We're going to enjoy our wives. We're going to enjoy our children. Okay? We're not going to work. We're going to have servants. And we're going to execute the law of the Lord on the planet Earth. We're going to be a nation of kings and priests. You know? And Yahweh Shai is going to be our head and David our king. And with that being said, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying to the house of David, the Bayat-Dawadah, the Habakar Bayat-Dawadah, the house, the elect, the house of David, and Barakatah Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai to the Lord's elect. We endure all things for the elect's sake. And another day we get up is a day closer to the kingdom. With that being said, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Call Halalim La Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, Ba Shem Kakodash, and Shalom.